an action button, USB-C. This is the new iPhone 15 Pro. Good day, you beautiful people. Welcome to LAZADA's Tech, where we do tech in your life in style. We're now on to the Pro version of Apple's latest releases. In this video, we're looking at the iPhone 15 Pro. These Pro phones are the top-of-the-line devices of the iPhone line, so I'm curious to see what's new with the new iPhones. I mean, I've already spoiled it, USB-C and the action button, but let's take a closer look in this video. We're gonna be unboxing this phone. We're gonna see what else is new. We're gonna be testing out the cameras a little bit. Let's go.
So first of all, this phone is supposed to have grade 5 aluminum, which is, and I quote, the same aluminum that they used on the Mars rover. So it's supposed to be lighter, more durable. I'm not gonna drop this phone to test it, but the fact that it's the same material as the Mars rover is like pretty mind-blowing to me. Again, this is supposed to have the new Apple contoured edges, but I don't really notice that. Might be because I have tinier hands and any phone this size is still a little big for my hand. Now maybe if they put these contoured edges on something like the iPhone mini, for example, I'd notice. Again, this mini does not have the contoured edges that Apple claims to have on these new iPhone 15s and 15 Pros. I will say fine, it is a little sharper to hold, but I still want this size back. So it really does look and feel like the iPhone. I don't know. I'm loving that matte back, of course. I got the white one because even if the natural titanium was the new color, without the pink one, I sort of want something that looks clean, something that I can add cute cases to. We don't have the minis anymore, but even if these iPhones didn't really change sizes, I really feel like this is more my size, which is why I didn't get the Pro Max. I was on the 13 Plus for a while and that was just way too big for me. Size matters. Okay, so looks and feels like the previous iPhone. Again, except for that. And so on this side, you get your volume buttons, but instead of the mute button, you get that new action button that you can reprogram into different things. And then you have your power button on the other side. Of course, speakers with a USB-C and a clean top. I know I review phones, but I have a confession. This is actually the first iPhone I'm using with a dynamic island. And I was like, what's the big deal? What does it do? Like, what's the point? Even if I use a MacBook with a notch, I will say it is pretty useful when it is useful. Like, for example, when I'm on an Uber and it tells me how long the ride will be, it's pretty cool. But then when I'm in some places, like for example, Asia, some parts of Asia where I'm at right now, where they don't have Uber, they only have Grab, you don't really get that integration when you book a car. So it's still just a notch. Either way, when it works, and I just want more things to work with. And finally, these are supposed to be the thinnest borders on an iPhone yet. You can see the borders, but they are pretty thin. And what I like, evenly thin all around.
So this new phone is now powered by the A17 Pro, which is the top-of-the-line Apple silicon. At the event, they talked about how capable this phone is in terms of everything you'll ever need, including gaming, which also this phone uses ray tracing technology for better graphics. And like mentioned, we do not get the Lightning port with these new iPhones anymore. You get a USB-C port. And on these Pro versions, you get USB 3 speeds, which means faster transfer speeds. Instead of the mute button, we also get an action button. There are two versions of the Pro model. This iPhone 15 Pro that has a 6.1-inch screen, and then there's a bigger iPhone 15 Pro Max with a 6.7-inch screen. Aside from the bigger screen and the bigger battery, what are the main differences? Well, let's move on to the cameras. This phone reps a 48 megapixel main camera, a 12 megapixel wide that can also do macro shots, and a 12 megapixel telephoto camera which can do 3 times zoom. But it's the bigger Pro Max that's spec'd out because out of all the newly released iPhones, it's only that phone that carries the new 5 times optical zoom camera with the tetra prism design and OIS and sensor shift module. And though it was explained at the event that all of that was made possible because it was a bigger phone, so they were able to fit it on the bigger phone, I still would have loved that same top-of-the-line technology on a smaller phone because the smaller phones are all that fit my hands. Other than that, a tiny thing, but I feel like this is a significant detail. There's a new nanoscale coating to reduce glare when taking photos with the iPhone. And I think this is gonna be pretty useful because based on experience, iPhone cameras, they do tend to be glary, right? Let me know if you agree. I'm not saying they're bad, I'm just saying like it gets those glares. Right, let's go check out what these cameras can do. Let's do a quick camera tour and look at that dynamic island unlock. Did you see that? That was fast. Also showing off my cute little new case from Casetify. Anyway, right, camera tour. So here we have the wide 1x, and as you can see, that's the new feature that switches out the 1x or the main camera to a 28mm, 35, and 24. You have 2x, 3x, and this can go as far as 15x. On the side, you have your portrait mode and it automatically goes to 2x. You have your different portrait options. This is not new. And you can also do 1x. And you can zoom in up until 5x portrait, but this is not an optical zoom anymore. You have your pano shooting, and then on to your other side, you have your video. You can shoot HD 4K, 30 or 60 on 4K. You can also do 24 cinematic, wide, 1x, 2x, 3x, up until 9x for video. Up here, you have your flash settings and your action mode, of course. Cinematic video, 1x, 2x, up until 3x, and you can shoot 4K, 30, 24 on cinematic mode. You can also switch out the aperture. So cinematic mode is basically portrait mode video on iPhone. You can also do 1x up until 3x on this mode. You have your slow-mo, wide, 1x, 3x, up until 9x, and you can do 240, 120, and you can only shoot in HD. Then you have your time-lapse mode that can do wide, 1x, 2x, 3x, up until 3x. Right. Let's go to selfies. Hey, and also this is fresh-faced me. I just came from a flight, so don't at me. Time-lapse over here, and on slow-mo we have 120 up here, and you can shoot in HD. You have a cinematic mode on selfie as well, which can shoot in 4K 24 FPS as well. And as you can see, this is how that blur works. This is an aperture of 4.5, smaller aperture, more blurred background, bigger aperture, less blurred background. You get the idea. And then on video, 4K 24 FPS, 4K 30, 4K 60 available on selfie video, and also on photo, wide, not wide, wide, not wide. And you can also do a blur, as you can see. There we go. Did you see that? Portrait as well. You get the same portrait settings. Can you do wide on portrait mode? No, you cannot. Only on photo, I guess. And then pano mode, which does not have a selfie. Now back to some samples. Okay, first impressions on the iPhone 14 Pro. First of all, I really want this in pink. I'm a little tired of getting the powerful flagship phones in very boring colors. The pink on the iPhone 15 this year looked so good, and I would have wanted it on the Pro because I'm a creator and I would have wanted the Pro cameras but in pink. So I'm a little sad about that. I will say that based on my initial samples, I'm pretty excited to see just how these cameras perform. Even if I didn't get the Pro Max, even the 5x zoom on portrait on this already looks good. That being said though, I have had a couple of days with this phone, and hearing news on the iPhone 15 Pro heating up, I did get an experience where it was running hot as I was shooting. Though for context, I am in Asia, and in this part of the world, a lot of phones heat up when shooting the way I shoot, including previous iPhones, including previous flagship Android devices. So I think I really would need more time to test out this phone cameras before I can comment on that. Just adding that little tidbit for context, especially as someone who are in tropical places a lot. That being said though, I feel like I would need more time with the phone, with the cameras, to see if it really does have that issue. Still really enjoying that dynamic island, which again is a first for me. Also enjoying my SIM card slot because I did get my phone from Hong Kong, where they still do physical SIM card slots. Though as someone who's traveled a lot and who's discovered travel eSIMs, I feel like I wasn't hurting so bad with the eSIM only iPhones. And having traveled to Europe and Asia this week, I did miss the eSIMs. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Of course, this is just our first video with the iPhone 15 Pro. Let me know what type of videos you'd want me to shoot with this phone. If you want a camera vlog test or a social media test, comment down below. That's it for today. If you want to see how I use my tech on a daily basis, find me online. That's Isa. I keep pressing this button. But yeah, that's IsaDoes_ on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Until next time. Oh, and by the way, I have a video on the Apple Watch 9, the iPhone 15 in pink, up on the channel also. I'll link it down below. See you!